It's very difficult to predict where it actually goes, but what we can say is, look, it's reasonable that Bitcoin from all-time highs doubles or triples. That's not asking a lot. That will be the worst bull market in Bitcoin's history. It probably triples from the all-time high, and currently it's at 30 grand. So, okay, that's a 6x from here. That's pretty good. And the upside is, maybe I'm totally wrong and it gets complete panic to the upside because of the issues you talk about. We don't know what's going to be happening in the economy in 2025, what could be driving prices. So I just think you get the upside for free.
In this video interview with billionaire investor, key opinion leader, and Real Vision CEO Raoul, he discusses his mindset as we approach the bull portion of this cycle. He starts by discussing institutional involvement and assures listeners that all the large institutions are working on moving to blockchains. He explains that the spot ETF approval is just the beginning, and that all the major institutions are already building blockchain infrastructure in the background. Raoul, who has also mentioned in time past that he believes that retail can no longer deploy significant liquidity into crypto, and that it's time to let institutional capital in, pivots from there to talk about how well he thinks Bitcoin, Solana, and Ether will perform during this bull market. Let's dive in.
From my conversations with most of these institutions, is they've all been working on it. They all know it's coming, but it's waiting for the SEC to say what they can do. And I think the trade-off here is Gensler's like, I need a political break here, because he's getting destroyed by stopping all innovation in the United States and stopping opportunity to investors, which I think is disgraceful. So I think he's thought, okay, well, I've said Bitcoin is okay, so why don't I just get that across the line? So then, look, everybody lined up to do this, which is fine, but all of us, because it will just bring fresh capital into the digital economy, and that'll get disseminated across the digital economy into different places, and that'll invigorate the cycle. Yeah, most of these people, even Jamie Dimon, they've got a huge group of people working on blockchain technologies at JP Morgan. Goldman Sachs do, Apollo do. I mean, they've all got it. So they're just waiting and waiting. There's not much supply around, and a big whale's come in, which is, it's not BlackRock themselves. They're not really buying stuff. Yes, they have to have a float, but what they're doing is they're enabling access to all of these RIAs, asset managers, pension funds, and that little door is going to create big waves for us when that whale comes jumping into the sea. So, it's great, and it will create huge problems. I'm actually even more concerned by ETH because of ETH burning. I mean, it's been deflationary as a network for quite a while now, and that's not much of a bull market. And what happens if we have a full bull market and we're still moving people to become stakers? So if like 30% of the network staked and we start going to one of these crazy bull markets.
So far, Raoul has discussed institutional involvement and what he believes it will do for cryptocurrency. His concern for Ether, the gas token of the Ethereum blockchain, due to its deflationary nature, has become one of the leading selling points for Ethereum maximalists. Ethereum's deflationary nature means it will likely experience exponential price growth when usage is high. Some experts believe that this feature, coupled with Ethereum's smart contractability and developer ecosystem, will ultimately result in the market cap of Ethereum becoming larger than Bitcoin, an event many call the flippening. Raoul also shares some insight on that and gives price range predictions for his 3 major holdings.
But firstly, to people who are just in the crypto space, it doesn't matter. They're both going up, right? So that's the most important thing to note. So you can back any horse you want. What we're in the game for is the excess returns. Where can you generate the higher return? So when I look at Bitcoin, it's the scarcity and the purity of what they're doing. But now we're building ordinals and other things on top of the network and layer 2s and stuff. Okay, more use cases, good for Metcalfe's law, good for on-chain activity. ETH is much broader and much more dominant in that broader world. And so when I look at that and think of the ETH staking, the yields, what institutions like about this as well, what kind of people get involved? I mean, everything seems to be more ETH based. And again, that's not a diss on Bitcoin, this ridiculous tribalism online. And I just look at the long-term ETH Bitcoin cross on TradingView, and it looks like it's a giant kind of wedge pattern. And I look at that, and that's the kind of, with all price history on a log chart. And I'm like, I just reckon that these patterns usually break up as a continuation pattern, and that would say ETH massively outperforms. I, like you, think ETH outperforms Bitcoin and Solana outperforms ETH, but I won't prepare to have that. I've got the ETH bet. I don't really have much Bitcoin anymore, and that worked well in the bear market. My ETH, maintained its value against Bitcoin, so fine. That's the first leg of that to prove out. The next bit is the bull market. I imagine that if those downward sloping trend lines of Sol versus ETH start breaking and we start to see some breakout new applications on Solana, that I will be shuffling my 90-10 or 80-20 or whatever my current weighting is between the two and changing around.
Raoul has given his predictions for the performance of the top two smart contract platforms, Solana and Ether. Still on the topic of price, he sounds a short warning about remaining conservative in these times.
All of us need to be cautious putting out prices to people. You know, people don't yet know how to fully take risk because this is bringing in new market participants. So how I would look at it, and even with my own mind, is listen, it probably triples from the all-time high, and currently it's at 30 grand. So okay, that's a 6x from here. That's pretty good. And the upside is, maybe I'm totally wrong and it gets complete panic to the upside because of the issues you talk about. We don't know what's going to be happening in the economy in 2025, you know, what could be driving prices. So I just think you get the upside for free. You can be conservative and it's still huge, and you get the upside for free.
Raoul Pal has explained the reason to be conservative, but he's also explained that even conservatively, he expects that Bitcoin will go as high as 210,000 USD per BTC, with the upside to go so much higher. Raoul explained that the inflow of institutional capital and the subtle concession of governments to the superiority of blockchains in the form of CBDCs suggest that there's a chance that Bitcoin goes much higher than the 200k per BTC prediction. He also predicts that Ethereum and Solana will massively outperform Bitcoin in this cycle, and we might even see a flippening. Raoul believes that this scenario is feasible, even with a great deal of conservativeness. But what do you think about Raoul's picks and price predictions? To see the latest in crypto news, watch this video here.